Hi everyone, my name is Maya, and this is probably the hardest story I've ever had to share. Before I dive in, if you enjoy storytime confessions like this one and want to hear more, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me keep going. Now, let's start at the beginning. It was a normal Thursday night. I had just finished a long day at work, and I was exhausted. My boyfriend, Daniel, had already gotten home before me. He was in the shower when I walked into the apartment, and his phone was buzzing on the couch. Normally, I don't touch his phone. I'm not the type to snoop, but something about the way it wouldn't stop vibrating made me curious. Or maybe it was my intuition screaming at me. I remember picking it up, almost against my own will. And there it was, dozens of messages from a number not saved in his contacts. At first, I thought it might be a spammer, but the preview notification showed otherwise. Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you. Or, when are you going to tell her the truth? My stomach dropped. My hands started shaking. I felt like I had been punched in the chest. I scrolled further. The messages only got worse. Explicit, emotional, intimate. It wasn't just some fling. Whoever this was, they had a connection with him. My first instinct was denial. I wanted to believe maybe I was misunderstanding. Maybe it was just some old conversation. Maybe it was work-related. Maybe anything. But then I saw her name, Sophie. I froze. Sophie wasn't a stranger. Sophie was his coworker. I had met her once at his office party. She shook my hand, smiled at me, and told me she thought Daniel was lucky to have me. And all this time, she was the one blowing up his phone. I dropped the phone back on the couch just as I heard the shower turn off. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Should I confront him right then and there? Should I pretend I didn't see anything? My mind was racing a mile a minute. I sat on the edge of the bed, trying to steady my breathing. And when Daniel walked out, towel around his waist, smiling at me like nothing was wrong, I felt sick. In that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just about cheating. This was about betrayal from both him and her. And I knew, right then, that my life was about to change. And this was only the beginning. I didn't say a word that night. Not a single word about what I had seen on his phone. Instead, I forced a smile, asked him about his day, and tried to act normal. Inside, though, I was unraveling. Every time he laughed, I wondered if he was thinking about her. Every time he touched me, I wondered if he was comparing me to her. It felt like living in a stranger's house. Over the next few days, I kept replaying the messages in my mind. I wanted to confront him, but something inside me held back. Maybe it was fear. Maybe I wanted more proof. Maybe I just wasn't ready for the truth to leave his lips. But silence eats at you. It makes your thoughts louder, your doubts heavier. I started noticing little things. His phone always face down. He smiled at text notifications. He started working late. All the cliches were right there, staring me in the face. And the worst part, he acted like nothing was wrong. I was going to dig until I found it all. One evening, Daniel fell asleep on the couch after binge watching some show. His phone was right there, glowing on the coffee table. My heart was pounding, but I reached for it anyway. I unlocked it, and what I saw confirmed every fear I had. There were photos, videos, conversations stretching back months, trips they had taken when he told me he was away on business, sweet messages, pet names, and inside jokes. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional. He loved her. And the worst part, she knew about me. I wasn't some secret. In one of her texts, she actually said, "When are you going to leave Maya? You can't keep stringing her along." That cut deeper than anything. It wasn't just betrayal, it was cruelty. Both of them, fully aware of what they were doing, are still doing it anyway. I put the phone down and went into the bathroom. I locked the door and just sat on the floor. My whole body was trembling. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. Instead, I just sat there in silence because I couldn't process it all at once. That night, I barely slept. I lay next to him, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long I had been living in a lie. The next morning, I looked at myself in the mirror and asked, am I really going to keep pretending? Am I going to let this destroy me quietly? And that's when I knew I had to take control. I finally reached my breaking point on a Saturday morning. We were sitting at the table eating breakfast, and I couldn't hold it in anymore. I put my fork down and said, "Daniel, we need to talk." He looked up at me, still chewing, and asked, "About what?" I stared at him and said clearly, about Sophie. I watched the blood drain from his face. His hand froze halfway to his mouth. He didn't even try to act confused. That silence told me everything. I know, I continued. I've seen the messages. I've seen everything. He finally put his fork down, leaned back in his chair, and rubbed his face. Maya, I was going to tell you, he said. Tell me? I snapped. You were going to tell me what? That you've been sneaking around behind my back for months. That you've been lying every single time you told me you love me. He reached across the table, trying to grab my hand, but I pulled it back. You don't understand, he said quickly. It just happened. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. I laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was bitter, sharp, the kind of laugh that comes when you're too angry to cry. Not supposed to mean anything. Daniel, you told her you loved her. You made plans with her. You promised her a future. That's not nothing. That's a choice. And you made it over and over again. His voice cracked as he said, I still love you. Maya, I didn't want to hurt you. I looked at him, my face calm even though my chest felt like it was on fire. You don't get to betray me and then say you love me. That's not love. Not anymore. For the first time, he had nothing to say. He just sat there, staring at me, and I realized he had lost control. So I stood up. My voice didn't even shake when I said, pack your things. Daniel, get out. And that's exactly what he did. The door shut behind him, and for a moment, the silence was deafening. I stood in the kitchen, staring at the empty chair across from me, and the weight of everything finally hit. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt hollow. The apartment felt too quiet. The bed felt too big. Everywhere I looked, I saw pieces of him. His shoes by the door, his mug in the sink, his jacket on the chair. I wanted to throw it all out. But instead, I sat on the floor and cried until I couldn't cry anymore. Over the next few days, my emotions shifted constantly. One moment I was furious, replaying every lie in my head. The next, I felt this crushing sadness because the man I thought I knew didn't exist anymore. Friends told me I did the right thing, that I was strong. But late at night, when the lights were off and I was alone, I didn't feel strong. I felt broken. And then, out of nowhere, she reached out. Sophie, she messaged me directly. She said, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Daniel told me he was leaving you. That single sentence almost destroyed me. Not because it was true, but because she said it so casually. Like my pain was just collateral damage in her little love story. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Instead, I blocked her, deleted the message, and turned my phone off. But her words stuck in my head, and then it hit me. Daniel didn't just betray me. He betrayed both of us. He promised her a future just like he promised me forever. He was lying to everyone. And that realization was the first step not toward freedom, but toward revenge. Weeks passed. On the outside, I played the part of the broken girl healing from heartbreak. On the inside, I was planning. Every tear I cried, every sleepless night, only sharpened my resolve. One night, sitting on the balcony with a cup of tea, I thought back to the moment I found those first messages. That version of me, shaking and terrified, didn't think she could survive this. But she did, and now she wanted payback. I didn't confront him. I didn't beg for answers. No, I let him dig his own grave. I collected screenshots, receipts, every lie he told. I befriended the girl he cheated with not because I wanted her pity, but because I wanted her story too. And together, we compared notes. Then came the strike. One by one, his lies unraveled. I exposed him to his friends, his family, his co-workers. Every person who thought he was such a good guy saw the truth. The future he promised her, gone. The forever he promised me, shattered in the open. His perfect little facade, ruined. I won't lie, it wasn't easy. There were nights I almost texted him, nights I wanted him to explain why. But then I remembered, betrayal is not love, and silence isn't revenge. Exposure is. Eventually, I donated his clothes, cleared out the last of his things, and reclaimed my space. But this time, it wasn't just about moving on. It was about making sure he could never hurt anyone else the way he hurt me. Freedom doesn't always come the way we expect. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's painful, and sometimes it's destroying the person who tried to destroy you. So to anyone listening who's been through something like this, I want you to remember, you don't have to suffer quietly. You can rise, and you can take back your power. And if you're still here, listening to my story, thank you. If you want more confessions and revenge stories like this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this with someone who might need it. Because sometimes, revenge not love is what sets us free.